I'm Adam Booth, and you're watching Sporting Icons.
Now, it's no secret that I am biased when it comes to British and Irish fighters. That doesn't mean that I don't support other ones from outside the UK and Ireland. Of course I do. You know, I'm a huge fan of Terence Crawford, of Errol Spence Jr., Mikey Garcia, you name it, Adam Kanaki. There are so many. Vasyl Lomachenko, of course, Triple G, Canelo. Listen, the list goes on and on and on. And I always want to see these guys do well. I always want them to put on a good show, fight some of the best guys around, give us exciting fights. And I'm going to be supporting these guys like I always have. I may not talk about them too much because I only really talk about the ones that I know you guys want to listen to, because it does take me a little bit of time to edit the videos, right? It's not like I've just got one picture on the screen and I can just talk about whatever. That's not how I do it. I try and give you guys a little bit of visual as well. But anyway, I think even though I am biased with British in that, and as much as I do support these other fighters, ultimately you put one of these other fighters in there against a Brit, I'm always going to want the Brit to win. Much like I'm a massive fan of Vasyl Lomachenko. You put him in there against Luke Campbell next, I'm going to want Luke Campbell to win. Again, this is just my bias going back to the Football World Cup, European Championships, etc. So that's kind of what it is that I'm saying. Now, Filip Hrgovic, I'm a big fan of his, and I'm excited to see where it is that he goes to. He has a huge reputation, very exciting amateur, and he's proven to be the real deal in the pro game already. And already, you know, he's got some pretty good wins on his resume for only 8-0. But you put him in there with Joe Joyce, I'm going to want Joe Joyce to win. Again, it's my British bias. I can't help it. And I know that some people say that Sporting Icons, you shouldn't be so biased. Sporting Icons, listen, I'm unpaid. I'm not professional. All right, I'm no different to any of you guys listening to this video right now. I'm not sponsored or anything like that. So therefore, I don't need to be professional. I don't need to sit on the fence. If those days ever come, then of course I need to change it up a little bit. But until that time comes, no, I'm entitled to my opinion, much like anybody else. So, of course, ultimately, if Joe Joyce and Filip Hrgovic have the rematch, as in the pro game, they already fought in the amateurs where Joe Joyce won, I'm going to want Joe Joyce to win. But here's my issue with it. You see, that this whole scenario of Joe Joyce versus Filip Hrgovic, listen, as to who's going to win, I don't know. But as I said, I would love Joe Joyce to win. But Joe Joyce, here's one of my things with him. And as much as I do support him, and I always want to win, of course I do, he's doing very well. All right, he is doing, listen, he's got Bermane Stiverne on the resume. Even Ian Lewison is on the resume. He's got Leroy Thomas on the resume. Alexander Ustinov on the resume. And looks like he could be having Bryant Jennings on the resume. So already, at only 9, potentially, with Jennings being 10 fights in, he's doing absolutely fantastic. But he is at an advanced age. So it's not like he's doing something that he really shouldn't be doing. He's doing what he needs to do. He had a very extensive amateur career. But ever since he turned pro, he's been calling out the names of Luis Ortiz, Big Baby Jarrah Miller, Dillian White. He's been calling out Hughie Fury. He's been calling out lately Alexander Povetkin. He's been calling out so many different fights. Ajit Kabir, the European champion, and whatever else. But these fights don't seem to materialise. Why is that? My opinion is because he's talking a lot and not doing a lot. Is it him? Is it his management team? I don't know. Now, Sam Jones, who I do actually quite like, but he is a bit of a wally. That's my perception of him. Again, I don't want to be disrespectful, not at all, but he comes across as a bit of a wally, like he's a bit of a Jack the Lad. He's even saying how old Luis Ortiz and that is, and how Joe Joyce would just mull through him. Okay, so why didn't the fight happen? Luis Ortiz was quite willing to fight Joe Joyce. Didn't happen, did it? Just didn't happen. And there's plenty of examples like that. Now, Filip Hrgovic, he's saying, listen, I'll fight you next, not a problem. Sam Jones, Joe Joyce manager, is he manager or his agent? I'm not too sure. Nah, not really. Nah, not right now. We need to build that fight. Right, okay. So you want to build that fight. You want these guys to get paid well. Okay, well, Eddie Hearn has already said, I will pay Hrgovic's purse. Right, so Frank Warren, whatever, you can put on that show, but you don't have to worry about the purse of Hrgovic. You just worry about the purse of Joe Joyce. So let's look at it this way, okay? So Joe Joyce versus Bryant Jennings. How much is Joe Joyce getting? How much is Bryant Jennings getting? How about bin Bryant Jennings off and just give all that money to Joe Joyce and let Eddie Hearn pay for Filip Hrgovic? Is it a headliner? Sure, why not? Listen, Eddie Hearn's putting on next-gen cards. No disrespect to the likes of Conor Benn. I like him, I support him, and I want him to do really, really well. Is he a headliner right now? No, not at all. I think a couple of the guys on the undercard are in better place to be a headliner than what Conor Benn is. So the point is, Eddie Hearn is willing to put on headline shows or like these kind of cards. So I'm pretty sure that he's quite willing to do Joe Joyce versus Filip Hrgovic as a headliner. So again, there shouldn't really be any kind of excuse, but we're hearing excuses from Team Joyce. Nah, not right. Nah, not right now. Not right now. Nah. So why are you guys talking a lot? Why are you talking about fighting Povetkin? Why are you talking about fighting Luis Ortiz? Why are you talking about fighting whoever the hell? Even Anthony Joshua, you're quite willing to do that. But as soon as someone goes, yeah, come on then. Nah, you're all right. Nah, that's all right. I'd rather not. Not right now. There's no excuse. Stop talking. Give us more action rather than talking. That's what I'm asking, Sam Jones now to do, because he's offered the opportunity to fight Filip Hrgovic, which is a decent fight. There'll be a lot of eyes on this fight. So therefore, take the fight, right? Nah, you're all right. Nah, not right now. Nah. Well, stop talking a lot. This is my problem. As much as I want to support Joe Joyce, and of course I would support Joe Joyce, whenever he fights, I always want him to win. Of course I do. But I don't like fake. I just don't like it. It winds me up. It irritates me. It really, really does. Why are you calling out Luis Ortiz and then saying how Luis Ortiz is old and decrepit, but don't fight him? Why are you calling out Povetkin, but not fighting him? Why do you mention Dillian White's name? Why do you mention Anthony Joshua's name? You see, you talk about the guys who you know fine well you're not going to fight. Because, let's be honest, Joe Joyce doesn't have the name brand. He is high risk, low reward, isn't he? So it's unlikely that, say, when he's calling out Miller, when he's calling out Derek Chisora, etc. Even though that Sam Jones and whoever else, David Hayne at the time, well, we've offered them this amount of money, it's really good money, but they still don't want to fight. So you've got the money. Frank Warren's got the money. So what are you talking about when it comes down to money? Now the shoe's on the other foot, and Hrgovic is saying, yeah, no problem. Eddie Hearn is saying, yeah, don't worry about the purse of Hrgovic. No problem, I'll pay it. Nah, you're all right. Nah, you're all right. No problem. I don't like fake. I cannot stand fake. Joe Joyce, I hope he goes on and achieves some great things. But stop talking about Povetkin. Stop talking about Luis Ortiz. Do not talk about nobody unless you are willing to fight them. Very, very simple. Talk about those who you are willing to fight. I'm tired of the excuses. I'm tired of it now. Luis Ortiz said, let's fight. Nah, you're all right. Nah, it's all right. No problem. Nah, not right now. Filip Hrgovic, well, come on, let's fight then. Nah, you're all right. I'm pretty sure if Povetkin went, well, come on then, it'd be, nah, you're all right. Nah, they didn't offer us enough money. Joe Joyce has no brand right now, so why are you talking about these guys? If you're not willing to fight them and you want a big payday, save those names in your mind until you are of a worthy purse, should we say. You are not Joshua, okay? You are not Dillian White. You are not Tyson Fury. You don't have that pull. So why are you mentioning these guys' names, knowing full well that these fights are not going to happen? You've got Filip Hrgovic there, which is a fight that people would love to do. Listen, it doesn't have to be on the Nathan Gorman and Daniel Dubois undercard. Again, Joe Joyce had the ideal opportunity to become British heavyweight champion by taking on Daniel Dubois. That fight was ordered. Joe Joyce, nah, you're all right. I think I want to go fight Ajit Kabiel. No, you're not though, are you? Because if Ajit Kabiel goes, yeah, okay, come on then. Nah, you're all right. I'm just tired of it, really. I'm tired of it. I don't like fake. So people can call me biased all you like, but fact is, if I see fakery, I'm going to point out fakery. And for me, Sam Jones is fake. Joe Joyce is fake. And until you prove otherwise, you're fake. Why do you want to... Listen, why do you want to take on Anthony Joshua? Why do you want to take on Luis Ortiz? Why do you want to take on Povetkin? Why do you want to take on Ajit Kabiel, but you're not willing to take on Filip Hrgovic? You're not willing to fight down Dubois. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Not at all. Unless you come out and say, listen, yeah, I don't think I'm ready yet. I think Hrgovic might just beat me. Fair enough. Just don't talk about his other fights. Don't talk about a Joshua fight, Dillian White, Luis Ortiz, Wilder, whoever. Don't talk about these fights. Just don't talk about them. If you're not ready for a Hrgovic, then don't even breathe the name of these other ones. Stay in your lane. That's the only possible thing I could think of. Sam Jones in my opinion, he's trying to be a celebrity, and which is why he's talking a lot. But when it comes down to it, nah, you're right. Nah, you're right. Excuses. Stop it with the excuses. Please don't do the excuses. Do not talk about fighters unless you're willing to fight them. Because what he wants to do quite clearly, these guys, is talk about his other fighters, knowing full well that the fight ain't going to happen. So they can say, well, see, we tried to get this fight, but it didn't happen. But you never actually wanted to fight. There is Filip Hrgovic. Eddie Hearn is offering to pay his wages, pay his purse. Whatever money you're getting for Bryant Jennings, or if it is going to be Bryant Jennings, whoever, that money, plus the money that Bryant Jennings is getting, why don't you get all of it and go fight Filip Hrgovic? Why not? You can't make money as an excuse. Eddie Hearn can also, let's switch the date up. Why don't you have it as a headliner then? No excuses really. I'm just tired. I'm sick to death of all this talk about Joe Joyce. I do support him, of course I do. I'm not knocking the fact that he's going to be fighting Bryant Jennings, if that turns out to be true, which by the sound of it, it is. I'm not knocking that fight. Just stop talking about other fighters if you're not willing to fight. I don't want to be calling Joe Joyce the British version of Deontay Wilder. I don't want that at all. Anyway, drop your thoughts below, click thumbs up, and of course subscribe. Catch you all on the next video.